Assalamu alaikum everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. This is Azam with INVESTOFY.com. Today it is May 14th, 2017, and we're going to do an upcoming weekly analysis. So first we're going to go over what the market is doing. Then we're going to look at our positions from last week. And then we're going to look at potential trades for the upcoming week. Okay, so as for the markets, let's take a look at S&P 500 here. As we can see, or as we know, that S&P 500 has been in an uptrend for quite some time now. But what we're starting to see is that after reaching the highs here of $240.32, it's starting to it's having a tough time breaking through it. And so it's creating a bit of a, I would say, resistance level. So what we need to be looking for is in the coming week, if it can break through this high, or in the coming weeks of $240.32. If not, we can anticipate a drop down to the 230s at the least. So that's our look at S&P 500, and we'll be carefully watching our positions due to that. The second thing that we want to focus on is gold. So we can just do the gold miners ETF. And what we're seeing here is definitely after reaching this level of support, it's starting to push back up. So it's always an interesting sign. If the stocks are starting to drop, gold or commodities value starts to increase. So that is something else we will be keeping an eye on for this coming week. Same thing with silver. It reached this level of support. It started to push back up a little. We'll still have to carefully look at how the coming week or weeks go through. Okay, now let's look at the dollar index. We are also seeing strength, somewhat of its strength, or starting to build a base here that maybe perhaps from here on, either it will continue to drop or it'll turn back around and go higher. That being said, let's take a look at our positions. So first off, here are our positions. The initial position that we had taken was ALKS. The entry was this. Now the stop, this is showing the last closing price. So it's been kind of adjusted right now, and we can see that our risk would be about 1.82%, or on an entire account on this, or $1.08 if you were working with a $1,000 account. Then there is NUS. NUS started at $56.31. That's when we entered it. Currently it closed at $57.70. So it's in a profit of $1.39 per share. Gap has been down a little, as we can see. It's 63 cents per share. Carbonite is closed. It did reach its initial profit range that we had. Serapita Therapeutics, we cut our losses on this one. It was a bit too volatile for us, so we lost about $4 a share on this. XPO is currently open. It's up about $4.50 per share. AMD closed. This was brutal for us, that despite having good numbers, earnings coming out to be decent, the stock just dropped, and so we took a bit of a hit on this one. WUBA is currently open with about $3.76 profit per share, or 9.53% increase in the stock value. AEM is currently at $1.67 profitability. Vonage is at about 26 cents short on per share loss. LPSN was the big one that we had, which we bought at $7.70, and our initial stop was $6.90. So we were risking about 80 cents a share, and currently it's up $2.20 per share. So it's given us over 28% return on the stock value, but the value of our risk has gone so much more that we've almost made 3 times what we were risking. So this is the kind of stock that I look for as often as possible. That is Sharia compliant, good financials, and would give us really, really great returns with very minimal risk. And then finally, we have Ambarella, which is up by $2.47 per share and has increased in value by 4.3%. So all in all, our portfolio is down slightly, about 0.4%. And the important thing is that we're looking at the long term, as always, that we're trying to look for value in the long term with preserving our capital. And if some of you recently joined us and the first trade you took was LPSN, then you might have a very profitable account right now, which is great, and we would love to hear about that. Okay, that being said, let's move back to coming positions or potential trades for the coming week. One of the positions that we're looking at is American Airlines. Obviously, it's been in an uptrend, and it has very solid fundamentals. It's got a good market share. It has positive debt to equity ratio, positive earnings per shares, some of the financial ratios that we look at. And we would be looking to buy this stock around $47.83. So that's going to be our price that we're looking for. So I can probably just put it out here at $47.83. We can be looking to buy that. The next one is Alliance Resource Partners, and we would probably be looking to buy this at around 23.5 because it can continue to move upwards and has potential to go in the $30 range. The third one is Belden Inc. We will be looking to buy it around $74.85. CPBX. We'll be looking to buy around $25.80. CFX will be looking to buy around $41 because this stock has potential to go up a comfortable 5 to 10%. In Canada, we might look to buy it close to $12 a share. We may need to just break above this and see if it can continue to go into the $15 range. GOV, we'll be looking to buy it around $21.53. GPRE, looking to buy around $26.08. HCP, maybe if it breaks around $32, that's where we will be looking. Hecla Mining, we might be looking to buy this one around $6.05 or so and see how it performs. So Ions, I think we'll be looking to buy it around $49.55. IRTC is another one that we're looking at, probably around $36. And here's the thing, guys, like for all these positions that we're looking at, potential trades, we will be actually sending you full alerts about when to buy and sell. Last week we did have a very slow week. A lot of our positions didn't trigger. Some of them did trigger and some of them just gapped up, which was great, but they did not specifically trigger. So we try to be very exact about our entries because we want to keep our risks very minimal. So that's why it was a very slow week we had, and sometimes that's good too. You need a little break because we do look at these positions for long term. We're not looking at them to make money within just 1 or 2 weeks. Sure, some of them like LPSN will give us great returns within a few days, but our goal is to see at least over the next year how these stocks are going to perform while keeping our risk very minimal and limited and very, very tight stops. So LM is another stock that we're looking at. $38. Now here's the other thing, guys. Like, these stocks is, when we do the research, we do a research of combination. We look at the financial ratios of these stocks to make sure that the debt to equity is positive, or at least it's very, very low, that these companies are not making too much money off of interest, or they're not giving too much interest in debt, that they have very strong financials, their earning per shares are looking good, they're Sharia compliant, they're in the right industries. And then we look at when is the best time, or when is a good chance for us to buy these stocks, which will give us a very high probability of success. Then Mylan is another one that we're looking at, probably close to $40 is where we would be looking to buy this. Proof Point, we'll be looking to buy around $82. P-Lab, around $11.80. Perigo, probably around $77. If it can break through this high here, that'll be even better. RLGY, around 31.6. SEM, probably once it breaks above the $15.15. WMB might be when it breaks above $31. Mallinckrodt is near its all-time low, so we'll be just watching this one, how it reacts. And those are the positions that we're looking at. Now, from last week, the trade alerts that we sent, let's take a look at LXU. We were planning to buy this one around $11.75 or 39 cents, but it never triggered, or it just continued to go down. So that's the other thing. Even though these stocks might have very strong financial ratios, we are still looking for very precise entries, because they give us, again, a high probability that the stocks will continue moving up. Now, if those entries are not hit, or the prices of the stock don't reach that, then what happens in a lot of cases is the stock continues to go down. PRTA, we are still looking to buy this one close to $57.05. Coach is the one that I was discussing, that around $44 it will hit a 3-year high, and that's exactly what we saw. We saw it just gap up, and I kind of want to buy it closer to $44 once it starts to build a base from here on. Again, we also know that Coach bought Kate Spade last week, so it's always interesting when you start to reach a 3-year high or a 5-year high, because interesting news announcements come out from these companies. All right, CMTL. Again, we've been wanting to buy this stock near $14.86, but it did not reach that level. So what would happen is, in this coming week, maybe it will continue to go above this, or it might continue to go down. And once it goes below $12.70, we might be looking to close this position or cancel the orders that we have. Tzu is one of the other stocks that we were looking at, about buying close to $10.04, and it still hasn't reached that. So I believe that in this coming week, we can actually look forward to perhaps purchasing this stock, that there is around $10.04 or $10.05 that I would recommend buying this stock, and it has definitely potential to move up over time. All right, now Magna International is one of the stocks that another brother in the group had recommended, and we were also looking at this because, again, like all the other stocks, it is Sharia compliant, and we were looking to buy it around $44. And as you can see, last week alone it went up by more than 6% once it started to break out. So that's the other thing, is that sometimes we have to wait for the right entries, and that's what we aim for. besides just being Sharia compliant, we want to make sure that these stocks will move up. ABC was another stock, and you can safely say that I want to buy this around $89.30. So we'll see how it continues in the coming week. CenX, again, it did not trigger for us. CRI, see, it just went down, and that's the thing. Like, it's important for us to make sure that we have the right entries on these stocks, because they can start to go down, and we don't want that. We want to buy them right before they start to show upside. Dick's Sporting Goods is another great example that we were looking to buy it around $52.36. It never reached that point. It just went down by 6%. So if we would have just entered the position last week, this might have just continued going down. But now we don't have to worry about that. Ethan Allen, another great example that we were planning to buy this at $32, but it just went down by almost 7.9% last week. Okay, ITT Inc. Again, same thing, that we wanted to buy it around $42.78, but it dropped by 4.5%. KSU Gold, it did kind of trigger, but we're taking a look at this coming week for how it's going to continue going up, and if we can get a better opportunity. NLS is something that I might look to buy close to $19.85. So once it breaks through this level, it can continue to probably go up to $22. So a good 5 to 7% return is possible on this stock. SPNC, another example of one of the stocks that we were looking at, about buying near $30.20, but instead it never reached that point. CVS is down by 1%. ELGX is down by 6.4%. So that's why our entries are so important, because we look for, because they give us a higher probability, as I said earlier. And if those entries aren't reached, more times than not, the stocks will continue going down, which we want to avoid. And then this was our great winner that moved about 30.2%, and we were able to collect about 28% of that profit. So that's the important thing, that we look for positions like these where we can make such returns on a regular basis, and they're also Sharia compliant. Phillips 66 is still something that we are looking at. So guys, once again, these are really the positions that we were looking at from last week, our upcoming positions, and we will keep you guys posted. Now, if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you, and Assalamu alaikum.